Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the life you've been dreaming about. The success, the recognition, the influence, the freedom. Now ask yourself, what is standing between you and that life? Is it luck? Is it opportunity? No, it's distraction. It's noise. It's the endless pull of everyone else's expectations, opinions, and judgments. It's the chaos that surrounds you every day, telling you to react, to perform, to chase validation, to prove yourself to a world that doesn't care. And here's the truth. The world will never make it easy for you. It will never clear the path, soften the challenges, or hand you success on a silver platter. If you want to rise, if you want to dominate, if you want to achieve more than you ever thought possible, you must first do what almost no one is willing to do. You must focus on yourself and you must stay silent. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not hiding. Silence is power. It is the space where your mind becomes unshakable, where your habits sharpen, where your strategy forms, and where your hunger grows in ways that the world cannot touch. In silence, you become untouchable because you are no longer reacting to chaos, no longer feeding off approval, no longer letting distraction control your energy. Every moment spent in quiet focus is a moment where you are growing stronger than anyone watching, preparing for a life that others will only witness, never understand. You will work when no one sees. You will sacrifice when no one applauds. You will grind when no one believes. And by the time the world sees you, your results will speak louder than any words ever could. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for the ones who are willing to step into the uncomfortable, the lonely, the unseen. The ones who understand that success is built not in hype, not in validation, not in applause, but in relentless action, discipline, and unshakable focus. You must learn to ignore the noise. You must protect your energy. You must master your mind, your habits, your emotions. You must observe, not react. You must build in private while others chase attention. You must feed your hunger while others are distracted. You must transform pressure into fuel while others crumble under it. Every principle, every decision, every ounce of effort counts. Because in 2026, the world will test you harder than ever. And only the ones who have mastered themselves in silence will rise. And here's the secret: the life you want, the legacy you dream of, the power you seek. It is already within your reach. But it requires focus, patience, discipline, and courage. It requires that you stop performing for others and start performing for yourself. It requires that you silence the chaos, sharpen your mind, feed your hunger, and turn every challenge, every expectation, and every ounce of pressure into fuel for unstoppable action. If you commit to this path, if you embrace the silence and focus fully on yourself, nothing will be able to stop you. And by the end of this journey, by the time this video ends, you will not be the same person who started watching. You will see yourself differently. You will think differently, and you will act differently. You are about to step into a level of clarity, power, and relentless focus that most people only dream about. The question is, are you ready to rise? Silence is one of the most underestimated weapons you can carry in your journey towards success. In a world obsessed with noise, with constant chatter, endless social media updates, opinions flying at you from every direction, most people have forgotten the value of keeping their mouth shut and letting their actions speak. They are in a constant race to prove something to someone, trying to validate their existence through words, through likes, through attention, and in doing so, they scatter their energy, dilute their focus, and slow their progress. But those who understand the power of silence are operating on a completely different frequency. They understand that there is a difference between talking about your dreams and actually living them. There is a difference between broadcasting your efforts and grinding quietly. There is a difference between being busy for the world and being busy for yourself. When you remain silent, you are refusing to hand over the blueprint of your life to people who are not willing to put in the work. You are protecting your energy, your ideas, your time, and your vision from the noise that seeks to derail you. Silence is not weakness. It is not hiding. Silence is strategic. Silence is strength. It is a shield against distraction, a barrier against envy, and a furnace that forges resilience. While others are talking, you are building. While others are seeking validation, you are seeking growth. While others are trying to impress, you are trying to improve. Every word you do not waste on meaningless conversations is a drop of fuel you pour into your ambition, a unit of energy you redirect to your craft. Silence allows you to focus on what matters the most without the interference of external opinions. When you are quiet, you hear yourself. You understand yourself. You feel your thoughts clearly without them being diluted by the noise around you. Most people do not realize how often they are influenced by the words of others. Every conversation, every social media post, every casual comment shapes their decisions, their emotions, their mindset. But when you embrace silence, you create a space where your mind can grow independently. You become the master of your thoughts, the commander of your actions. You do not need constant affirmation because your internal compass becomes precise and unshakable. Your confidence is no longer borrowed from applause or validation. It is grown from your own discipline, your own effort, and your own relentless pursuit of progress. In silence, you cultivate patience, and patience is the fuel for real transformation. You learn to wait, to plan, to execute without the need to announce every step to the world. The world is impatient. It wants instant gratification. It wants attention. It wants noise. But the silent ones understand that lasting success is not about being seen now. It is about being unstoppable when it matters most. There is a quiet power in watching your efforts compound day after day while others are busy chasing distractions. Every hour you spend working in silence is another hour of advantage over those who squander their time proving themselves. You will look back months or years later, and the results of your silent grind will speak volumes, while the people who talk more than they worked are left explaining why they have nothing to show. Silence is a multiplier. It amplifies your work, your focus, and your results because it creates an environment where your energy is concentrated and uninterrupted. Silence also protects your vision from those who are not ready to see it. When you announce your plans prematurely, you invite criticism, doubt, and resistance. People may try to steer you off course, make you question yourself, or even steal your ideas. But when you stay silent, you remove these risks. You keep your dreams private until they are unstoppable. And then when the world finally sees your results, there is no doubt about your capability. No one can undermine action that has already been taken. No one can discredit results that cannot be disputed. Silence is the quiet weapon that allows you to move without interference, to grow without distraction, and to shine without competition. The strength of silence is also psychological. When people are used to speaking their mind constantly, they are predictable. Their habits, their thoughts, their weaknesses are exposed. Silence creates mystery. Silence creates authority. Silence builds respect. People notice when you do not react to everything, when you do not engage in every debate, when you do not answer every question or justify every decision. They are forced to observe you, to pay attention to your actions rather than your words. You gain influence without ever needing to assert it verbally. Silence commands presence. Silence demands respect. Silence turns your life into a statement that cannot be ignored, not because of noise, but because of undeniable results. Finally, silence is strength because it allows you to harness your internal energy. Most people are drained by constantly explaining themselves, defending their choices, and justifying their actions. Silence keeps your energy intact. It allows you to channel every ounce of effort into building, improving, and creating. It keeps your focus razor sharp. It teaches you self-discipline. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you to find satisfaction in your own growth rather than from the applause of others. And once you truly understand this, you become unstoppable. You no longer need permission to pursue your dreams. You no longer need approval to chase your goals. You no longer need validation to push yourself to heights you once thought were impossible. You are operating on a level that few will ever reach Because you have learned the secret that the world often ignores. The less you speak, the more power you hold. Silence is strength. It is not passive. It is aggressive. It is not weak. It is intenti. Ono. It is the foundation of focus, discipline, and ultimate success. In 2026, the year ahead, waiting for those who can master themselves, who can quiet the noise, and who can let their actions do all the talking. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones shouting the loudest. They are the ones moving fastest, building strongest, and proving most consistently, all in silence. Every moment you embrace your silence is a moment you strengthen your mind, sharpen your focus, and prepare yourself to dominate your future. The world will notice eventually. They will ask how you did it, how you grew so fast, how you transformed so completely. And by then, it won't matter what you say, because your life will have already spoken for you. Cutting the noise is not just about turning off your phone or avoiding social media. It is about taking control of your environment, your mind, and your energy. In a world that thrives on distraction, that constantly pulls you in 100 different directions, the ability to cut the noise is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Most people live their lives reacting to the chaos around them, allowing notifications, opinions, and the constant chatter of the world to dictate their emotions, their focus, and even their destiny. They are constantly saying yes to everything, constantly feeding off other people's drama, constantly validating others while ignoring themselves. But when you decide to cut the noise, you are making a choice to prioritize your growth, your purpose, and your mission above the chaos that surrounds you. You are refusing to let the unnecessary energy of the world infiltrate your mind and distract you from what really matters. Noise comes in many forms. It comes from people who doubt you, people who criticize without understanding, people who project their fears and limitations onto you. It comes from the E, endless stream of content that clogs your mind and steals your attention. It comes from your own scattered thoughts, your own fears, your own inability to say no to what does not serve your progress. And every time you allow yourself to absorb this noise, every time you let it take root in your mind, it saps your focus, it erodes your discipline, and it slows your progress. Cutting the noise is not a one-time action. It is a constant practice, a daily commitment to protect your mental space and guard your energy like it is your most valuable currency, because it is. Your time, your focus, your energy, these are non-renewable resources. And if you are spending them on the noise of the world, you are robbing yourself of the chance to become the person you are meant to be. When you cut the noise, you gain clarity. Suddenly, decisions become simpler, priorities become sharper, and your vision becomes unclouded. You begin to see what truly matters versus what is just a distraction. You start to recognize the difference between meaningful relationships that lift you up and toxic ones that drag you down. You start to understand which battles are worth fighting and which ones are simply noise that will consume your energy without yielding any results. This clarity is not a luxury. It is a necessity. You cannot operate at your peak if your mind is crowded with unnecessary input, with voices that do not belong to your purpose, with opinions that do not align with your vision. Every person who achieves greatness knows the value of cutting the noise. They understand that focus is not just about working harder. It is about working smarter, about creating an environment where the only thing you hear is the sound of your own relentless ambition. Cutting the noise also requires courage. It means saying no to people who are comfortable with you being distracted, saying no to invitations that do not serve your growth, saying no to habits that keep you stuck in mediocrity. It means turning your back on the opinions of the world and trusting your own judgment. Most people are terrified of silence because they equate it with loneliness or inactivity. But in truth, silence is a weapon. It allows you to concentrate. Your energy to process your thoughts, to strategize without interference, and to move forward without being weighed down by the expectations of others. The world will always have an opinion about what you should be doing, who you should be, and how you should live your life. But when you cut the noise, you no longer allow those opinions to control you. You take ownership of your mind, your focus, and ultimately your destiny. Cutting the noise also gives you a competitive edge. While everyone else is distracted by arguments, social media, gossip, and the chaos of everyday life, you are quietly preparing, learning, and building. You are the one who is mentally ready when opportunity appears. You are the one who is focused when others are scattered. You are the one who can see the bigger picture while everyone else is caught in the moment. Noise dilutes results. Silence amplifies them. If you want to dominate in 2026, you must be willing to distance yourself from the distractions that hold other people back. You must be willing to create a bubble of focus that cannot be penetrated by external chaos. The more noise you remove, the more power you gain, the sharper your focus becomes, and the faster you move toward your goals. Cutting the noise also strengthens your emotional resilience. When you stop letting the opinions and actions of others dictate your mood, you become unshakable. You no longer react to every criticism, every judgment, every negative comment. You become immune to the drama that keeps ordinary people stuck. You learn to channel why. Our energy into things that matter, into your goals, into your growth. You become calm in chaos because you have practiced detachment from what does not serve you. Noise is emotional clutter. And when you clear it from your life, you make room for strength, clarity, and unwavering focus. Finally, cutting the noise allows you to maximize your potential in ways that few people ever experience. You start to understand the true meaning of self-mastery. You learn how to prioritize, how to focus, how to grind in silence, and how to trust the process. You begin to see progress faster because you are not spreading yourself thin. You become unstoppable because your energy is fully aligned with your purpose. And when others see your results, they will wonder how you did it. They will ask why you never got distracted by the chaos that consumed them. And you will smile quietly, knowing that the secret was never in talking or explaining. It was in cutting the noise and focusing relentlessly on yourself. In 2026, the world will try harder than ever to pull you in every direction, to distract you, to convince you that your energy belongs to them. But the people who achieve greatness will be the ones who have mastered the art of cutting the noise. They will be the ones who have created mental space, emotional strength, and relentless focus that cannot be shaken by outside forces. They will move silently, work relentlessly, and dominate without explanation. And when they finally reveal the results of their labor, the world will stand in awe, not because of words, but because of unstoppable action. Cutting the noise is not optional. It is the foundation for focus, discipline, and success. It is the path to becoming the strongest, sharpest, and most unstoppable version of yourself. And those who embrace it fully will enter 2026 with a clarity and power that few can ever comprehend. Moving. G faster, stronger, and more determined than anyone around them. Self-mastery is the cornerstone of every achievement, the silent engine behind every success story, the unseen force that separates those who dream from those who dominate. It is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. It is about understanding that your mind, your habits, your emotions, and your actions are the foundation of everything you are trying to build. Most people spend their entire lives blaming circumstances, blaming other people, or waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. They believe that the world owes them clarity, opportunity, or success, and in doing so, they remain powerless. But self-mastery flips that equation. It puts the power back in your hands. It makes you the commander of your destiny, the architect of your life, and the relentless force behind every goal you pursue. Until you learn to master yourself, until you learn to control your mind, your habits, and your reactions, everything else will be unstable, fleeting, and incomplete. Self-mastery comes first because it is the only way to ensure that your energy, your focus, and your effort are always aligned with your vision. To master yourself, you must first confront the truth about who you are. This is uncomfortable because most people live in denial. They hide behind excuses, lies, and the approval of others. They distract themselves with temporary pleasures and external validation. Self-mastery demands brutal honesty. It forces you to look in the mirror and identify your weaknesses, your fears, your distractions, and your limiting beliefs. It requires that you take responsibility for every decision you make, every habit you indulge, and every thought you entertain. No one else is responsible for your progress, your mindset, or your outcomes. When you embrace this truth, when you stop blaming and start owning, you begin the process of true self-mastery. This is the work that most people refuse to do. They would rather complain than confront, argue than analyze, distract than reflect. But those who choose the hard path, who commit to self-mastery, unlock a level of control and power that others can only dream about. Self-mastery also means controlling your emotions. The world is going to test you in ways that are unpredictable, relentless, and often unfair. People will doubt you, circumstances will challenge you, and setbacks will strike when you least expect them. Most people react impulsively. They lash out, they give up, they let fear and anger dictate their actions. But mastery of self requires a different response. It requires patience, discipline, and the ability to act deliberately, even under pressure. Emotional control is not suppression, it is management. It is the ability to feel deeply without letting those feelings derail your focus or compromise your results. When you master your emotions, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You no longer allow setbacks to define you, criticism to demoralize you, or distractions to weaken your resolve. Instead, you harness those emotions, channel them into motivation, and turn every challenge into fuel for growth. Habits are the next battlefield of self-mastery. The truth is, the small choices you make every day define who you are far more than the big decisions ever will. The discipline to wake up early, to work hard when no one is watching, to push through discomfort, to prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. These are the markers of self-mastery. It is not glamorous. It is not easy. It is not instant. But these small, consistent actions compound into massive results. Mastery of self means taking control of these daily actions, refusing to let laziness or distraction dictate your behavior, and building routines that align with your goals. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of daily consistency. They focus on inspiration rather than implementation. Self-mastery teaches you that it is not about motivation in the moment. It is about discipline across every moment. Self-mastery also demands mental clarity. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat begins. If your thoughts are chaotic, your focus scattered, your beliefs weak, you will never operate at your potential. Mastering yourself means training your mind to think clearly, to prioritize effectively, and to believe relentlessly in your capacity to achieve. It is about eliminating mental clutter, silencing doubts, and creating a vision so compelling that nothing external can shake it. Self-mastery transforms your mind into a weapon capable of cutting through distraction, fear, and mediocrity. Those who fail often do so because they have surrendered their mental control to outside influence, social media, toxic people, fear, or indecision. Self-mastery reclaims that control and converts it into unstoppable power. Another critical aspect of self-mastery is the ability to delay gratification. The world wants instant results, instant approval, and instant satisfaction. Most people chase temporary pleasure and compromise their long-term potential. But mastery of self teaches you to endure discomfort, to delay gratification, and to invest energy where it truly matters. Every sacrifice you make in the present, every early morning, every extra hour of effort, every disciplined choice pays exponential dividends in the future. Self-mastery allows you to think beyond the moment, to prioritize long-term impact over short-term pleasure, and to build a life that others can only admire from the sidelines. It is this ability to delay gratification, to remain patient and focused, that separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Finally, self-mastery is about ownership and accountability. Until you take full responsibility for your life, for your decisions, for your time, and for your energy, you will remain at the mercy of circumstance. Mastery begins when you stop blaming, stop complaining, and stop waiting for someone else to create your opportunities. It is the realization that your potential is limitless, but only if you are willing to control the only things you truly can: yourself. Self-mastery is not a destination. It is a lifelong commitment to improvement, reflection, and relentless self-discipline. Those who embrace this path become unstoppable. They do not rely on luck. They do not depend on external validation, and they do not wait for permission. Their lives are a testament to the power of controlled focus, disciplined action, and unyielding perseverance. In 2026, the people who dominate will not be the loudest, the most social, or the luckiest. They will be the ones who have mastered themselves first. They will be the ones who have trained their minds, controlled their emotions, built unshakable habits, and aligned every action with their purpose. Self-mastery is the ultimate competitive advantage because it cannot be taken away, stolen, or duplicated. It is cultivated in silence, in discipline, in reflection, and in the relentless pursuit of improvement. If you commit to mastering yourself first, everything else, money, success, respect, influence, will follow naturally. Without it, even the greatest talent, the most ambitious dreams, and the hardest work can crumble under the weight of undisciplined thoughts, scattered focus, and uncontrolled emotion. Self-mastery comes first because it is the foundation upon which unstoppable greatness is built, the silent engine that powers relentless achievement, and the ultimate secret weapon for not one who refuses to settle for mediocrity. Observation is one of the most powerful tools you can develop, yet it is one of the most underutilized. Most people live their lives reacting to criticism, reacting to chaos, reacting to circumstances, reacting to the opinions of others. They are like leaves caught in a storm, tossed around by every gust of wind, losing control of their direction, their energy, and their focus. Reacting is easy. Anyone can do it. But observing, truly observing, is a skill of the disciplined, the strategic, and the unstoppable. When you learn to watch, to listen, and to absorb without immediately responding, you step into a realm of control that most people will never experience. Observation allows you to understand the patterns, the behaviors, and the true intentions of the world around you. It teaches you patience, it teaches you strategy, and it gives you a level of clarity that reaction alone can never provide. To observe and not react is to take control of your mental and emotional state. Most people are slaves to impulse. A harsh word triggers anger. A criticism triggers defensiveness. A setback triggers frustration. They let external events dictate their inner state, giving away their power with every automatic response. Observation flips that equation. It allows you to see the situation clearly before responding. It allows you to separate fact from opinion, truth from distraction, and strategy from chaos. When you observe first, you gain the advantage. You are no longer caught off guard by the actions of others. You no longer allow your emotions to dictate your behavior. Instead, you respond with intention, with precision, and with the full force of your focus. Observation is the silent preparation that turns every encounter, every challenge, and every conflict into an opportunity for mastery. Observation is also about learning. The world is full of lessons if you have the eyes to see them and the patience to learn from them. When you observe without the need to react, you absorb knowledge that others miss. You watch how people succeed and fail, how circumstances favor some and challenge others, and you internalize these lessons. Every conversation, every experience, every obstacle becomes a teacher. The reactive person misses these lessons because they are too busy defending themselves, arguing, or expressing their emotions. The observer, however, takes it all in, analyzes it, and converts it into actionable insight. This is a critical advantage because success is not just about effort. It is about understanding what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Observation gives you this insight. Reaction alone does not. Observation also strengthens your strategic thinking. When you are constantly reacting, you are living in the moment, vulnerable to manipulation and limited by circumstance. Observation allows you to step back, assess the environment, and make decisions based on knowledge rather than impulse. It allows you to anticipate challenges, recognize opportunities, and position yourself for maximum impact. When you watch quietly while others act hastily, you gain a perspective they will never have. You see the bigger picture, the hidden motives, and the patterns that drive success or failure. This strategic advantage is invaluable. It is the difference between being a participant in life and being a master of it. Those who observe first and act second always maintain control, while those who react immediately often find themselves off balance, drained, and behind. Observation also cultivates emotional intelligence. By watching before reacting, you learn to understand people, their fears, their desires, their motivations. You learn how to read situations and respond in ways that are sensitive rather than impulsive. Emotional intelligence is not innate. It is developed through conscious observation. When you resist the urge to react immediately, you gain insight into human behavior and strengthen your ability to influence outcomes without confrontation. You learn to navigate complex social dynamics with precision and calm, which is a skill that accelerates personal and professional growth. Reacting without understanding, on the other hand, often escalates problems, creates unnecessary conflict, and wastes energy on things that do not serve your mission. Observation also gives you resilience. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, and provocations at you. And if you react to every single one, your energy will be drained before you even get started. Observation allows you to conserve that energy, to focus it on the things that matter, and to respond when the time is right. You become unshakable, not because the world is less chaotic, but because you have learned to maintain your inner control despite it. Reactivity is the enemy of progress. It scatters your energy and compromises your focus. Observation builds calm, patience, and measured power that allows you to act decisively when it counts the most. To observe without reacting also requires discipline and self-awareness. You must recognize the impulse to respond and consciously choose restraint. This is not easy. It goes against human instinct. It goes against the desire to defend yourself, to explain, to argue, or to justify. But when you practice this discipline, you gain a level of control over your life that others will never experience. You are no longer a slave to circumstance or emotion. You are a commander of action, a strategist of life, and a silent force moving forward with precision. Observation transforms patience into power, stillness into strength, and awareness into an unstoppable adva. Intaj, observation without reaction also creates opportunity. While others are distracted by drama, ego, or emotion, you are calculating, learning, and preparing. You see what others miss. You recognize the timing and the approach needed to maximize results. You can position yourself to succeed while others are busy reacting to setbacks or the opinions of others. Observation turns the ordinary into extraordinary because it allows you to act with intention rather than impulse. Every moment of restraint, every second spent watching rather than reacting compounds into an advantage that cannot be disputed. Finally, observing and not reacting is a principle that builds long-term success. Reactivity may feel productive in the moment, but it often leads to wasted energy, mistakes, and regret. Observation builds foresight, clarity, and control. It allows you to approach life with strategy rather than chaos. It allows you to respond to challenges with calculated precision, to seize opportunities when the timing is perfect, and to operate from a place of calm authority. In 2026, the world will test you more than ever. Distractions, drama, and provocations will be everywhere. The people who succeed will not be those who react first. They will be those who observe, learn, and act with purpose. Observation is the silent force that powers discipline, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. It is the tool that separates those who are led by circumstance from those who lead with control. To observe and not react is to master the art of presence, strategy, and timing. It is a skill that builds confidence, influence, and results. And when you fully embrace it, you become untouchable, unstoppable, and undeniable. The world will move around you in chaos, but you will move through it with focus, precision, and an unmatched edge, because you have learned the greatest lesson of all. Watching earning and acting with purpose always beats reacting in the moment. Building in private is one of the most overlooked principles of success, yet it is one of the most powerful. The world wants immediate visibility, instant recognition, and constant validation. Social media glorifies the highlight reel, the moments of success, and the celebration of achievement without ever showing the struggle behind it. Most people fall into the trap of performing for attention, broadcasting their plans before they are ready, and seeking approval for ideas that are still untested. But the truth is, greatness is never built in public. The loudest voices, the ones constantly seeking praise or recognition, are often the weakest. Those who achieve true mastery and lasting success understand that building in private is where the real work happens. This is where discipline, effort, resilience, and strategy converge without distraction. It is where you can make mistakes, refine your approach, and develop your skills without the judgment, the noise, or the interference of the world. When you build in private, you protect your energy. The world is full of critics, doubters, and opportunists waiting to steal your ideas or shake your confidence. Every time you reveal your plans prematurely, you invite doubt, sabotage, or distraction. By working quietly, you maintain control over your vision and your progress. You allow yourself to focus fully on the process without being consumed by external expectations or reactions. Every hour you spend building in private is an hour of uninterrupted growth. An hour where your energy is fully dedicated to improving, learning, and mastering your craft. This is how you create something truly remarkable, by keeping your focus locked in and your efforts unseen until the results are undeniable. Building in private also cultivates discipline. Most people are aided by attention, recognition, or applause, but these are fleeting. Discipline, on the other hand, is sustainable. It is forged in the moments when no one is watching, when you are pushing through discomfort, and when you continue to grind despite the absence of immediate validation. When you commit to working in silence, you develop a work ethic that is immune to praise or criticism. You learn to rely on your own standards, your own goals, and your own internal drive rather than external approval. This internal discipline becomes your greatest asset because it cannot be taken away or diluted by outside forces. It is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. Building in private also allows for experimentation and growth without fear of failure. When you are in public, the pressure to perform, to look perfect, and to maintain appearances often prevents you from taking risks or trying new things. In private, you have the freedom to fail, to iterate, and to refine your skills. Every mistake becomes a lesson, every challenge an opportunity to improve, and every setback a stepping stone toward mastery. By the time you reveal your results to the world, you have already eliminated the weaknesses, honed your craft, and built something worthy of recognition. This is why those who build quietly often dominate loudly when the time comes. The principle of building in private and shining in public also teaches patience. The world glorifies instant success, viral moments, and overnight fame, but real achievement takes time. There is a delayed gratification that comes with working quietly, focusing relentlessly, and trusting the process. While others are distracted by the desire for recognition or by comparing themselves to others, you are creating, learning, and growing. Patience allows you to develop depth, resilience, and skill that cannot be rushed. When you finally S. Shine in public, your results carry weight because they are backed by the unseen hours, the hidden sacrifices, and the relentless effort that went into building them. Shining in public is not about arrogance or showmanship. It is the natural outcome of consistent, focused effort done in private. When you finally reveal your work, the impact is undeniable because it is based on substance, not hype. People notice excellence because it cannot be faked. When you shine, it is not because you sought validation. It is because your preparation, your discipline, and your mastery demand attention. The contrast between those who build quietly and those who perform for attention becomes obvious. The results of your silent grind become a statement, a testimony, and a force that commands respect. People are drawn to it, inspired by it, and influenced by it. Not because of what you said, but because of what you accomplished. Building in private also strengthens your mental toughness. Working alone without validation or recognition forces you to rely on yourself. You learn to push through doubt, fatigue, and frustration because your motivation comes from within. You develop resilience, focus, and confidence that are not dependent on external factors. By the time you present your results publicly, you are mentally prepared for scrutiny, comparison, and competition. You are unshakable because you have already faced the hardest challenge, doing the work when no one is watching, when the excitement is gone, and when the temptation to quit is strongest. Shining in public after building in private is a powerful form of leverage. The world tends to overestimate the impact of words and underestimate the impact of results. When you reveal something extraordinary, the attention you receive is a reflection of the hours of unseen work, the dedication to craft, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. It commands respect, opens opportunities, and inspires others to raise their own standards. But more importantly, it gives you control. You define the narrative because your results cannot be questioned, your effort cannot be denied, and your success cannot be ignored. Building in private also protects your mental energy from unnecessary comparison. When you focus on what others are doing, you become distracted, anxious, or insecure. You start measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel, and your own work suffers. By building in private, you insulate yourself from comparison, judgment, and noise. You focus solely on your path, your process, and your results. This mental clarity allows you to move faster, work harder, and execute with precision. Your energy is fully dedicated to building, not defending, explaining, or justifying. Ultimately, the principle of building in private and shining in public is about mastery, patience, and strategy. It is about creating a life that speaks for itself. It is about understanding that the loudest people are not always the strongest, and that true power is cultivated in the unseen hours, in the moments of discipline, in the quiet work that no one else notices. By the time you shine, your results will be undeniable. People will notice. People will respect. People will wonder how you did it. And the beauty of it all is that you do not owe anyone an explanation. Your life, your success, and your results have already spoken for you. In 2026, those who dominate will be the ones who build quietly, grind relentlessly, and shine boldly. They will focus on action over attention, results over recognition, and preparation over performance. The people who understand this principle will move through the year with clarity, power, and unstoppable momentum. They will become the examples of what is possible when discipline, patience, and silent effort meet opportunity. Those who build in private and shine in public will not just survive, they will thrive, and the world will have no choice but to notice, respect, and acknowledge the greatness that was forged in silence. Hunger over hype is a principle that separates those who achieve true greatness from those who are merely chasing attention. In a world obsessed with recognition, validation, and instant approval, most people mistake hype for progress. They believe that success is about being seen, being praised, and being talked about. They measure their worth by the reactions of others rather than the results of their own work. But the truth is, hype is temporary, superficial, and fleeting. It is a byproduct of attention, not a measure of achievement. Hunger, on the other hand, is the fire that drives you when no one is watching, when no one believes in you, and when there are no immediate rewards for your effort. Hunger is relentless, unapologetic, and disciplined. Hunger over hype is the mindset that says, I will work harder than anyone else, not to be noticed, but to be great. Hunger is what pushes you to do the work when motivation fades, when distractions arise, and when the world is indifferent. Most people rely on hype to carry them through. They need the praise, the applause, or the spotlight to feel like their effort matters. They will train when they are being watched, create when they are being validated, and perform when the audience is cheering. Hunger does not need an audience. Hunger thrives in silence. Hunger wakes up before dawn, works after dark, and sacrifices comfort for progress. It is the engine behind consistent, relentless effort. And it is what separates temporary performers from true masters of their craft. Hype can be deceptive. It makes you feel successful without requiring the substance to back it up. It CKs you into believing that appearances matter more than results. You can generate attention through social media, flashy presentations, or loud words, but without hunger, without the discipline to grind in silence, that attention fades. Hunger, however, is self-sustaining. It does not depend on followers, likes, or approval. It exists independently, quietly, and relentlessly, pushing you forward when hype is gone, when distractions are everywhere, and when challenges threaten to knock you off course. Hunger over hype is choosing substance over style, action over attention, and results over recognition. Hunger also builds resilience. When you are focused on hype, any criticism, failure, or lack of attention can derail your confidence. You are emotionally dependent on the reactions of others, and your momentum becomes fragile. Hunger, however, is internal. It is immune to criticism because it is not built on validation. It is built on purpose. Hunger allows you to keep grinding even when no one notices, to keep building even when no one believes, and to keep growing even when results are not immediate. This internal fire is what allows people to push through the darkest moments, to overcome setbacks, and to dominate their field without needing approval. Those who chase hype burn out quickly. Those who feed their hunger endure, grow, and ultimately conquer. Hunger over hype also sharpens focus. When you are chasing attention, you are reactive. You are constantly shifting to please others, to adapt to trends, and to seek validation. Your energy is scattered, your time is diluted, and your results are compromised. Hunger, however, creates laser focus. You know exactly what you want, why you want it, and the steps necessary to get there. You are not distracted by applause, by trends, or by the opinions of others. You are locked in on your craft, your vision, and your mission. This level of focus is rare, and it is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Hunger ensures that every action you take, every hour you spend, and every decision you make is aligned with long-term achievement, not short-term attention. Hunger over hype also fosters humility. People who rely on hype are constantly performing, constantly broadcasting, and constantly seeking recognition. Their energy is wasted on proving themselves rather than improving themselves. Hunger, however, teaches you to be patient, to value effort over applause, and to respect the process over the result. It allows you to work diligently without needing validation, to build relentlessly without needing recognition, and to grow consistently without announcing it to the world. Humility is the silent power that keeps you grounded, focused, and hungry, even when the world is applauding mediocrity. Another key aspect of hunger is that it drives long-term consistency. Hype is fleeting. It is fueled by temporary attention and emotion. Hunger, however, is enduring. It is the force that gets you to the gym when no one is watching, to the office when the spotlight is elsewhere, and to practice when there is no cheering crowd. Hunger is patient. Hunger understands that mastery takes time, that growth is incremental, and that the path to greatness is paved with quiet, disciplined effort. It does not seek immediate results. It seeks lasting impact. Those who feed their hunger consistently become unstoppable because they understand that every small step compounds into monumental results over time. Hunger over hype also builds credibility. When the world finally sees your results, your work speaks louder than any words, any promotion, or any social media post ever could. You do not need to explain, defend, or justify. The results of your hunger are undeniable. People respect those who show consistency, discipline, and achievement, not those who perform for attention. Hype may grab temporary notice, but hunger builds a reputation that endures, influence that cannot be bought, and respect that cannot be demanded. It must be earned through relentless action. Finally, hunger over hype is about mindset. It is about understanding that your worth is not measured by the applause, recognition, or approval of others. It is measured by the effort, the discipline, and the growth that you cultivate in private. Hunger teaches you to value progress over praise, preparation over performance, and action over attention. It allows you to rise above the distractions, the critics, and the noise of the world. It ensures that when the time comes to shine, your success is not a result of hype. It is the inevitable outcome of relentless, disciplined hunger that could not be stopped by doubt, failure, or distraction. In 2026, those who will dominate are not the loudest or the most visible. They are the ones who have fed their hunger, sharpened their focus, and disciplined their effort in silence. They are the ones who understand that hype is temporary, but mastery is eternal. They grind when no one is watching. They learn when no one is teaching, and they persevere when no one else believes. When they finally emerge, their results are undeniable. Their influence is unshakable, and their legacy is secure. Hunger over hype is not a strategy for temporary success. It is the mindset of champions, the philosophy of excellence, and the driving force behind unstoppable achievement. Feed your hunger relentlessly, ignore the hype, and watch as your life transforms in ways that attention and recognition could never accomplish. Pressure is an inescapable part of life. It is present in every challenge, every goal, and every high-stakes situation you face. Most people fear pressure. They avoid it, complain about it, or let it consume them. They see pressure as an enemy, a weight that holds them back, and a stress that drains them. But the truth is, pressure is not something to fear. It is something to harness. It is the ultimate catalyst for growth, the silent engine that separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Transforming pressure into fuel is about changing your perspective, your mindset, and your approach. It is about understanding that pressure is not a burden, but a signal, an invitation, and a tool for building strength, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. Those who learn to embrace it, control it, and convert it into energy are the ones who dominate every area of their lives. Pressure is inevitable because the world does not wait for you to feel ready. Opportunities, challenges, and responsibilities often arrive unannounced, demanding action, focus, and courage. Most people react to pressure with fear, hesitation, or avoidance. They crumble under deadlines, falter under scrutiny, and surrender under expectation. But those who thrive understand that pressure is a mirror. It reveals your weaknesses, your limits, and your potential. Pressure exposes where you are unprepared, untrained, or undisciplined. It is a signal to grow, adapt, and push beyond your comfort zone. Instead of resisting it, transforming pressure into fuel requires you to embrace it, to step directly into it, and to use it as a lever to elevate your performance and accelerate your growth. The first step in transforming pressure into fuel is mindset. Pressure is neutral. It only has the meaning you assign to it. If you perceive pressure as a threat, it will feel crushing, overwhelming, and immobilizing. If you perceive pressure as an opportunity, it becomes a source of motivation, energy, and clarity. Champions do not see pressure as a wall. They see it as a launch pad. You understand that greatness is forged in moments of stress, in high stakes environments, and under conditions that would break others. Every challenge, every expectation, and every moment of tension is an opportunity to prove your capacity, sharpen your focus, and reinforce your discipline. The mind is the control center. When you change your perception, pressure stops being a burden and becomes a weapon that propels you forward. Pressure also reveals your preparation. When the world applies force, when expectations tighten, and when challenges rise, your response depends on how well you have prepared in private. Those who have done the work, trained consistently, and built unshakable habits respond with confidence and clarity. Those who have neglected preparation crumble under the same conditions. Pressure tests your foundations, exposing weaknesses, but rewarding those who have invested in mastery. By using pressure as fuel, you leverage it to accelerate growth, identify areas for improvement, and reinforce the skills and disciplines that will carry you through the toughest moments. It turns adversity into advantage and challenges into opportunity. Pressure is also a generator of focus. When you are under pressure, distractions become unbearable and excuses become irrelevant. Your energy is channeled into what truly matters, the goal, the mission, the task that cannot wait. Most people panic under pressure, scattering their energy in attempts to control everything at once. The ones who transform pressure into fuel, however, sharpen their attention. They prioritize relentlessly, eliminate distractions, and engage fully in the present moment. Pressure forces clarity. It strips away the trivial and highlights the essential. Those who harness it act decisively, move with precision, and accomplish what others deem impossible because they have learned to convert tension into stoppable focus. Transforming pressure into fuel also builds resilience. Every high pressure situation endured strengthens your capacity to handle more. Every challenge survived expands your limits. Pressure is like resistance in the gym. At first it feels heavy, uncomfortable, and even unbearable. But repeated exposure strengthens your muscles, your endurance, and your confidence. Life's weight becomes manageable. Challenges become opportunities, and fear becomes fuel. The person who thrives under pressure is not born immune. They are forged through experience, discipline, and the conscious choice to see pressure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Pressure fuels action when you refuse to succumb to inaction. Many people freeze under expectation, allowing fear and doubt to dictate their behavior. But pressure, when harnessed, generates urgency, energy, and intensity. It drives you to move faster, think clearer, and act smarter. It forces you to innovate, adapt, and overcome. By transforming pressure into fuel, you take control of a force that would otherwise control you. You turn moments that could crush you into moments that define you, and challenges that could overwhelm you into catalysts for your next level of success. Pressure also strengthens character. The way you respond under stress reveals who you are, what you value, and how committed you are to your mission. Reacting with panic, blame, or avoidance diminishes your potential. Responding with focus, discipline, and strategic action amplifies your influence and builds an unshakable foundation of confidence. Transforming pressure into fuel is about developing the mental toughness to maintain integrity, focus, and effort no matter the circumstances. It's about becoming the person who does not waver, who does not complain, and who does not fold when the stakes are high. Finally, pressure creates distinction. Ordinary people run from it. Average people crumble under it. Champions leverage it to create results that are undeniable. When you transform pressure into fuel, you elevate yourself above the crowd. You accomplish in moments of adversity what others only dream of in comfort. You become the one who delivers under deadlines, rises above scrutiny, and dominates when the weight of expectation is heaviest. Your results become a testimony to your ability to convert stress into strength, tension into power, and expectation into achievement. In 2026, the people who succeed will not be those who avoid pressure. They will be those who run toward it, embrace it, and harness it as fuel. They will transform every high stakes moment into energy, every challenge into momentum, and every expectation into a launching pad for growth. Pressure will not break them because they have mastered the skill of converting it into power. They will move faster, grind harder, and rise higher than anyone else because they understand that greatness is not built in comfort, but in the furnace of tension, struggle, and relentless demand. Pressure is not the enemy. It is the greatest ally you have if you know how to transform it. It is the fuel that propels you toward your goals, sharpens your focus, and strengthens your resilience. Those who embrace this truth will dominate their path, crush obstacles, and rise to heights that others only dream of, because they have turned the weight of expectation into the driving force of their unstoppable success. Now, as we come to the end of this journey, I want you to understand something crucial. Everything we talked about, every strategy, every principle, every keynote, it all comes down to one thing: your focus, your discipline, and your relentless commitment to yourself. In 2026, the world will try harder than ever to pull you in every direction, distract you, to test your patience, and to tempt you with shortcuts that lead nowhere. But the people who dominate, the ones who rise above, are the ones who decide to focus on themselves, stay silent, and work relentlessly when no one is watching. They understand that attention is fleeting, hype is temporary, and approval is meaningless if your internal game is weak. They know that the only opinion that truly matters is your own, and the only validation that counts is the progress you make day after day, step by step, in silence, with hunger, with discipline, and with unwavering focus. You must commit to cutting the noise, to shutting out distractions, to protecting your energy like it is your most valuable currency, because it is. You must master yourself, control your thoughts, habits, and emotions, and refuse to be controlled by circumstance, opinion, or fear. You must observe before you react, using patience, clarity, and strategy to dominate where others panic. You must build in private, embracing the grind, the discipline, and the sacrifice, so that when it's time to shine, your results speak louder than any words ever could. You must feed your hunger relentlessly, ignoring the hype, the attention, and the applause, knowing that true success comes from internal fire, not external validation. And finally, you must take every ounce of pressure, every expectation, every challenge, and transform it into fuel that propels you higher, faster, and stronger than you ever imagined possible. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. This is not a journey for the distracted, the impatient, or the easily satisfied. This is a path for warriors, for those willing to endure discomfort, embrace sacrifice, and grind when no one is watching. Because the truth is, your results will not come from talking, hoping, or waiting. They will come from relentless, focused action. Ram, doing the hard work quietly, from feeding your hunger, and from turning pressure into unstoppable power. The world will be chaotic, distracting, and demanding, but you have the choice to rise above, to stay silent, to focus inward, and to dominate outward. So I'll leave you with this. 2026 is your battlefield, and your mind, your discipline, and your hunger are your weapons. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. Cut the noise. Master your mind and habits. Build in private. Feed your hunger. Transform every ounce of pressure into fuel. And when the world finally sees your results, they will not question your greatness. They will witness it. The question is, will you take that step? Will you commit? Will you endure when others quit? Will you rise when others fall? The power is in your hands. And it starts with the choice to focus, the choice to grind, and the choice to become unstoppable. The time is now. No excuses, no distractions, no delays. Your greatness is waiting. Go claim it.